Hello, 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 hello. I need to do a couple more things, sorry. I am doing a lot of things. I'm not sure about this setup though. Just gonna shut my door a little bit. Oh. It's gonna get a little warm though. Oops, I mean shut my door completely. There was a lot of prep today. More than I thought. How's it going? How's it going? And I'm still experimenting with some setups, but there we go. My goodness, Shem's here. How's it going? Hello. Hi, Margaret. I don't like that the chat's not right there. And I just realized there's a mirror over there. Have I not streamed here before? Oh, I did the underwear. That's what it was. Yeah, okay. This is why this is different. Yeah, I thought this was going to be better than this. But, oh, I know what it is. Okay, I figured it out. It was all set up right here, and then I moved it over here for all the knit sewing we did. Okay, I'm still setting things up though. So, hello, hello. I'll do my hellos now. Hello, Margaret. Hi, Shem. Hi, Elena. Hi, Renee. Hi, Tiffany. Lurking is welcome. Hey, Terry. Hey, Martina. Hi, Aisha. Hi, Lean. My underlining plans. Going through my wear that just showed up. Oh my goodness. I'm sewing something, a test sew, and I needed all this hardware for it. And I got 1-inch swivel hooks, 1-inch 3-bar sliders, 1-inch triangles, my metal zipper, and 1/2-inch rectangle loops. I was very disappointed. And it was my error, not theirs. So I had to place another order. But you know, it's like that order, I was like, I need a few other things. I'll get to the free shipping, you know. And this time I needed $2.19 worth of stuff. And I was like, I'm not spending $100 to get this. So it kind of shot myself in the foot about that. All right, how are we liking this up? It's okay. It's okay. This camera is, I'm gonna move it over. Oh, I don't know if I can. This is the only issue with this camera is the cord's not long enough to. So it might not. There we go. I think that is better. I've only been here a couple months, and I've only streamed like a handful of times so far, so I am still sorting things out, so sorry about that. I feel like all of my content is an advertisement for Juki. I am not paid by Juki. They just put their label there. I have nothing to do with that. It's just not... We're going to leave it for alone. But I do know that I need to change I need to take off the autofocus of this before I forget. Shout out to Beverly. Okay. There we go. What's really throwing me is that I can see my camera in this, so it's really hard. No free ads. No free ads. Yeah, well, you know, they're free. Poppy and just say hello. Hello. I know you're working stiff now. Okay, so we are making, I'm making a blazer today, and it is the Cashmerette Auburn. Oops. Cashmerette Auburn. I chose the Auburn because it has a lot of sizes. So that's why I have it. And I like it. And I got the fit good a couple of years ago. So I just pulled that pattern out, and yesterday I lengthened it. It's about all I did to it. I lengthened it. I didn't have to do really anything to make it a flat lined version rather than a lined version. I am doing an unlined. There are no advantages to making it unlined. It's just something I wanted to do because I really want to play around with the finishing techniques of the inside. That's all. It will probably take me longer. Lining is fast. Lining is so much faster. Okay. I'm flat lining it. This just means I'm basically putting another fabric against the self, the main fabric, and I'm going to be holding it as one layer. So essentially, these are all pocket pieces here, but like say, this is actually going to be the best example since I'm going to not flat line the front for part of it, and you'll understand why later. So let's say this is my outer, and this, I'm going to lay this lining. If you have gotten Jukies because of me, where's my check? I am an affiliate now for Quality Sewing, which sells all kinds of machines, and I have bought a Juki from them. I don't know what to do about it though yet. They're like, you're all set up, and I'm like, okay, now what do I do? So I have to ask them. So I'm obviously not that about affiliate stuff. Do not consider myself an influencer. I know you feel influenced by me sometimes, but I am not here to influence. I am here to help you get done whatever you want to get done using whatever you have on hand, right? So that's different than saying, use this thing, I think it's better. I never tell you, the only way to do something and it's the better way. So flat lining is, I'm just going to lay this lining back here and treat it like it's one piece. So this means I have to finish all my seams, and I've decided to do that through binding. Are you surprised? So yeah, I have to chew gum today. I'm so sorry. Yeah, see, I should have gotten the affiliate before, huh? Same with Terry. Hi, Diane. We have a very global group because of the time of day I stream. I'm pretty sure. It's just that time of year where I don't have allergies in the traditional sense. I have them to where I get throat tickles. If you've been here long enough, you know. And today was particularly bad because I got the hiccups. I've gotten the hiccups 4 times already. And I really hate the hiccups. And I have a trick to get rid of them, and it didn't work the first 3 times, which is never a good sign. It just means it's going to be a bad hiccup day. And what triggered it was drinking hot fluid. So it's not like it was air trapped in the diaphragm. It's because it irritated a nerve. So yeah. I consider it unlined because it's flat-lined, but I think you would just say it's flat-lined. So there's a lined blazer, an unlined blazer, and a flat-lined blazer. I mean, I don't know. You are not here because I am a tailor or a couture sewist, right? So hopefully you're not, because I am not your gal for that. I appreciate all that. Yes, I can sew really well, but I do not consider myself on that type of genre. I don't even consider it different levels, like as far as like one's better or more skilled than the other. It is a just different skill set, and I 100% believe that. So if someone were to be snotty about you being a garment sewist and you don't do couture sewing, well, they actually sound very inexperienced by saying that. That's just my personal belief. It's just a different set of tools, different set of skills, different set of practices. And you can incorporate a lot of everything in all of it. So, yeah. Oh, when you eat hard-boiled eggs? You can't have a beautiful machine like Saremy. This machine, it is beautiful. It's perfect and gorgeous, and I love it. But that being said, it is not like the most expensive machine one could buy, right? It's very affordable. That's why I love industrial machines, and why I bought the little Juki I bought. But can I do everything you can do? No, I can't. I can't do knits on here. I can within reason. I can't do overlocking, right? I can't do buttonholes. I can't do any zigzag. So, you know, there's limits. If you want one machine that can do it all, you can get a pretty decent home machine for that. I'm suspicious of this bobbin. Some of my bobbins just don't spin on the bobbin winder. It's very annoying. Who knows what kind of needle we have here, so let's just change it. We don't play around with needles. Oops. Yes, it makes a beautiful straight stitch. Terry's another one with you, Sylvia. She had to make some machine choices in order to get, her husband's like, that's enough. I'm gonna pick this bobbin over this one. This one's thicker. 100% thicker. Taller. This one looks older, so I feel like it's gonna work better. The newer ones, it's kind of dicey. Like 1 in every 25, they don't behave very well. So. You only regret like getting rid of one of them, right, Terry? This might be a long stream today. If my throat behaves, I'm just gonna chill and sew. I've been trying. Honestly, streaming is my first thing. Like this is the thing it's what I started with, right? And I understand a lot of people don't like it. I could throw that away. But it is my first kind of go-to because I feel like it's the most interactive and helpful. But it doesn't pay my bills. And so I don't want to give it up. That's why I'm here. I love doing it. But I've been so stressed the last few years about how to make it work. And recently I was like, you know what? Let's just consider stream weeks your fun week. And then you work your butt off every other week doing other things to pay the bills. And I feel so relaxed this week. I'm like, yesterday, that's why I was like, I'm going to cut this off camera, so why don't I just cut it with you guys? I'll just hang out and cut it. I'm not sitting here going, this needs to be an hour long or an hour and a half long. I'm just going to go until I go. I may change my philosophy at any given point, though, you know, so. When we do our major addition, I might need a larger craft room. Yeah, he could take over my sewing room as a library. Oh, I like that, Shem. I know we haven't seen you much. This year has been kind of crazy for you. The Necky Supernova. Yeah, that's a bummer. Yeah, and I think like when I think about who is it that watches the streams, it is a very particular person. So are we attaching the binding attachment yet? Oh, we need to make binding. Oh, and I didn't set this, well, shoot dang, I did not try this camera out. We're just gonna try it. I'm gonna, I have a little table here now, so we're gonna flip this around and we're gonna see how it goes. Oops, sorry. Look away for a second. This could work in a pinch. Why is it? I'm gonna, I have to turn my, we don't have to do much over here. Let's bring a mouse. Okay, so this is right side up. Okay. I'm just looking for my mouse. There it is. Oh my gosh, it keeps shooting off the screen. Here we go. Okay, here we go, here we go. Oh, I see what's happening. It doesn't like the texture. Oh no, it's too far away. That's what it is. Okay, sorry. I promise we'll be doing things soon. We're gonna zoom out. All right, this isn't ideal. I get it. This is where my hand, okay. I'm so glad to see you here, Diane. All right, we're going to be, I'm gonna cover, I just got plain shoulder pads to make, I'm gonna cover them myself, and I'm gonna use this fabric. So a couple of the things I was thinking about are, well, a few things. I would really like to embellish my back yoke, and I didn't get a chance to do this before the stream, so you're gonna have to sit through that too. But I do have an idea. I just want to do maybe, oh, I shouldn't have cut that leaf tip. Maybe we'll do it like this. We'll go like this, like. Oh shoot, that's a part of that. Yikes. I don't know, we may not use it. We'll see. It's supposed to go on the back neck facing maybe. We'll see. Okay, so that side. I'm gonna cover my shoulder pads, and I'm gonna use this binding fabric. All right, I'm gonna cut my selvages off. So in case you don't know, I used to do a lot of binding, and we would always send it out to be made. But I made a lot of binding way before that, for years. For years, I made binding. And I would make a lot. My favorite amount to make would be, I would make a 45-inch length of fabric. I wish I could see the screen better. You know what? I'm going to bring this over here. That's what I'll do. I'm just going to cover up that, and we're going to go like this. Oof, it makes me a little nervous. We'll put this over here. Okay. I can actually see chat from my stream software. All right, so this, let's say this was the piece of fabric folded in half, right? So that's the selvage right there, and this is the fold, right? So I would cut this, the length I would cut this would be whatever the width was. So if this was 54-inch wide fabric, I'd cut a 54-inch length, right? So I'd get a square, because it was just easier to deal with, right? No matter what you have, if this is your selvage, we'll do this, right? That's your selvage. I cut it off because I don't want to cut it off on 50,000 pieces, right? You're going to take this and you're going to take the cut edge here. So this is going to go like this to that S, right? So basically, you fold it in diagonal, right? Okay, so the first one, very easy, right? Let me pull it off the table just to get it in a diagonal. Okay. Well, Shem, all I have to say to that is they're just not all in live chat. They are active. I can see they're active, or maybe they're chatting with me somewhere else. Okay, so now we have our triangle, okay? Here's my fold. So this edge would be one cross grain and one selvage, and the same with that. So now you fold it into a diagonal, right? This next fold is the other direction. Now all you do is stack this folded edge. So you just keep folding this on itself. So I'm going to fold it in half once, right? And I'm going to fold it in half again. So you stack the folded edge, all right? And it looks like this. So all your folds are at this end. And I try and be pretty precise about this, even though I didn't just now. And there's a really good reason for it. Oh my gosh, this table service is so small. So I know there's a lot of ways to cut binding. I do not care how anyone cuts binding, honestly. And I do not like continuous binding. Yes, I know about it. Yes, I've done it. It's fine. It does. What I don't like about it is that when you cut it, all of the seams that you sewed now have no back stitch and it starts coming apart. And for putting that through a binding attachment, that just doesn't work. It just is a problem. I can feel a wrinkle there, so I'm straightening it out. All right, so now you've stacked all your folds, right? Now what I like to do is get rid of, I call this the dead ends. I don't actually, but I just thought of that. I think of this as like the loose ends of your hair that you're like, ugh, I need to clean it up. I cut this off, right angle to this, the new folds, right? Well, I'll do it kind of in this thinner area, right angle. And then I take this cut edge and I lay it on this other cut edge that I just cut off. And I line it up. And now I have this cut edge to start from. And I just start cutting my binding, whatever I want. This blade might not be new enough for this, but we'll see. Hopefully, if you stacked your folds over here pretty accurately, and you made that first cut on a pretty good right angle, and mine looks like it was pretty good because this unfolded didn't create a point there. We're gonna get a pretty parallel line by the time we get there, and if you don't, it's no big deal. Oops, that got a little funky right there. So now obviously you might not be wanting to cut this much binding at a time, and that's totally fine. But we would cut it apart, and we were really fast at it, and then we would seam it all together and roll it on a like a little tube, and then use it. Eventually I got a binding machine, and eventually we just couldn't make enough, and our binding attachment really liked like a machine-made bias. And then we just got better at cutting it so that our binding attachment liked it. I'm like off the edge of the table now. I get rid of these little things. They just make you inaccurate. This is the dicey, these start sliding off, right? But look at that, I got a pretty good parallel to the folds there. If this is large enough, you can open it up, stack it, and cut it, but it's not. So it's just in the trash pile. Now I'm going to seam a lot of mine together. I won't make you sit through all of it today, but I'm going to seam a lot of it. And what I do now is I stack it all up so that the same angle, right? And I usually, when I do this, I will, usually when I do this, I would have been more strategic about when I pulled off these sections when I cut them. If you are doing a much smaller batch. The other end of this pile that I'm making here needs to be parallel to this. So if this was the other end, it would have to look like that. And then now you can seam your binding together no matter which end you pick up, if that makes sense. So you don't have to stack it if you don't want. A lot of these little tiny ones I set aside. Not worth. These are really long. So yeah, I would go through and I would stack all this. So we'll just do a little bit though. So the only other thing we're gonna do here is, I would have stacked this nicer, honestly. But I'm gonna try and at least cut the other edge. Let's see if I can. I'm just hanging it off like this and kind of getting it. I promised you guys in the guild of an updated bias cutting video because mine's really old. I planned to do that with this. I even got here early, but then I just didn't. Sorry. I'll do it with the other one that's arriving. So these are all going like this. So all of these need to get trimmed. I'm not doing this in a very efficient way. I promise I'll show you in a more efficient way. There's nothing wrong with the old video. It's just older. Baby Saremy. Hardly any editing. Too long. Like, in my opinion, it's way too long. All right. All right, we'll be back over here to place our welt pockets soon. But for now, okay, let me just find an empty spool. I know I must have a ton of them somewhere here. Come on. Here we go. There we go. Oh, I should have done this before I changed my thread. Because I changed it. Well, actually, it wasn't the right one. Anyway, let me pull this over here. See you, Sarah. Oops. I'm just catching up on chat. You just used that video, Hannah? What do you mean not checking the angle? Oh, I'm 100% checking the angle. Oh, you mean like when I was laying it out? Nope, don't need to do that. If you make the diagonal first fold and then take that new fold, stack your folds, it's 100%. 100%. All right, so this is, Ran would do anything to get me to do this for her. I'm just gonna cut this, well, I'm just gonna cut this ratty edge off. I don't mind it though, but if you have two pieces that are like this, same angle, you can piece them together because they go like this, right? We just really don't, well, I don't like the camera in the video. Let me just zoom it in. I really wish I had a zoom that was not 6,000 buttons. pink always looks so good on camera. All right, yeah, so then we just overlap this. I'm gonna use a 1/4 inch seam, so that's how I know that I can overlap it so that I have this little juncture right here, and that's where we sew. That's 1/4 inch away. I would use smaller thread than this and a little shorter stitch length. If you use a really short stitch length, you know, like when you do your, if you like the continuous stuff and you do the a really short stitch length, you probably won't have as much problem with the cut edges, you know, coming undone. So, all right, so I get it started on here. Now this is the trick with rolling it on here. Set it on the table. Okay? Set it on the table, and then you'll get a nice flat edge here. Don't be all maniac and do this and expect it all to line up. No, 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 no. Let the table do all the work. You maniacs, you. And don't pull hard. It's bias, right? It's very stretchy. But once I get the first like 2 links on here, this goes pretty quick. So we'll just do a little bit. And if you're watching this in the future, just fast forward if you don't want to see this. Get to the sewing part. Today we're going to bind a lot of, well, that's terrible. We're going to bind a lot of flat line seams. We're going to sew welt pockets. If things are going well, we'll assemble the back and do the vent and shoulders and side seams and the undercollar. I know Terry's like, what? That would be my ideal goal today, is to get there. I don't think we're going to get there. It just depends on how well the binding of the corduroy goes. This tension is really terrible. So yeah. Oh, that's good. See, that's what I was thinking, Aisha. That would be the way to go. Thin thread and a small stitch length will help that, I think. Oh, that's good. Okay, good. Yeah, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. I love it. See, look at that nice flat binding, right? I really want to just drag this right in front here. You know, recently, you know, I've been trying to like struggle to get one of the like sets, like camera sets together in the next room for this ongoing project. And I just want it always set up. You know what occurred to me? Don't use a face cam, Saremy. Don't use a face cam. Give yourself permission not to use a face cam. And that just all of a sudden made me go, yeah, I don't know how to use a face cam. So that's probably what I'll do. Yeah, this, look at that stitching. The tension's better, but it's kind of wiggly. Kind of wiggly. Yeah, I think the folding method is like, oh yeah, all you do is stack the folds. You just got to remember the very, very first fold, you have to put it off grain, right? So you just have to, the very first fold, point to point. So it's point to point, then stack that fold you created, stack those folds. That's the thing to remember. And trust me, you guys, I always used to get this confused. It took me a really long time to just know for sure what I was doing and not, I had like little cheat sheets, diagrams. I even had, for a long time, I had this little piece of paper that was folded and then it was numbered in steps. So sometimes I trim down the seam allowance. I always trim those points off because it's going to go through my attachment. And if I were being really good, I would press all these seams. That makes a big difference in the binding attachment. But we'll just try and, this binding attachment honestly seems better than my professional one did. I don't know how much binding we need today. But see what I'm saying? Like, see how these two are the same angle? But now when we're sewing them together, right? You got to find something that clicks for you logic-wise. I thought actually people would be like, oh God, she's making binding. I did so much off camera, I promise. I really did. I did all the interfacing on all the pieces, which was all the hems of all the pieces, and then the center fronts. I did the collar, the welts, and I also did something else. So I promise I did do a lot of prep off camera. Because that, just watching the ironing, I know it's a little bit of like ASMR, but it's not very helpful, you know. Yeah, you can totally ask questions. I don't mind. Just a few more pieces, like 3 or 4 more seams. Probably fewer than I think. What was that that just moved over here? Oh, my bobbin's not winding. Oh, this is the bobbin that doesn't spin. Oh man, Terry, I was actually thinking of you this morning, like, oh my gosh, it takes forever. And with the corduroy, I was being kind of careful. Then I realized it doesn't really matter, like the corduroy, it doesn't matter as much like it would like velvet. Because velvet, you can crush the velvet permanently. But corduroy, I don't really think you can probably crush it. I mean, I'm not going to, you know, pretend like you can't. But it's not nearly as fragile. So I was pressing it face down on a terry cloth towel. That seemed to work really good. But then I would also flip it over and just like press it and just press it the direction of the nap. Here's my last one. If you want this to sink in, just do a whole yard of fabric. It'll eventually sink in. Do it a few times. All right, let's get rid of these. All right, so my steps today are, we're going to come in hot with the welt. And then there'll be a lot of binding. And I think I'll break up the binding. I'm looking at a list that I wrote. I'm going to break up the binding, so we're going to do the front and the back. I'll save the sleeves and the facings till later. That way we don't have to do just like a lot of one thing today. We can do something kind of fun. So I am flatlining the whole thing, but for the seam, the princess seam in front is the only thing I'm not going to be flatlining. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to put the welt in so that the welt pocket sits behind the flatlining. So that's my idea. I bought metallic thread. I'm nervous to work with it. I have all the gold trim to sew on. Oh, are you supposed to use metallic thread with that? Interesting. You know, I really want to sew this from the bottom up so that I can have the princess seam. But now I'm kind of thinking with the nap, do I want to sew always going down the grain of the nap? I don't actually know. So we're just going to struggle with this princess seam instead. There's the notch. Or not struggle. Stop vibrating, please. My experience with like metallic stuff, this isn't matching, but I didn't think it did match. I noticed it on something else. Is that not sewing thread. I've never used metallic sewing thread. Is that it can be stretchy, right? I think it is wild. I am making a corduroy blazer. You could do transparent thread too. I've used that before. It's a 1/2 inch seam. My instincts are to sew with the nap too, but I've never even considered that before. Why didn't my instinct kick in when I sewed corduroy pants? Okay, so we have our fronts, and then we're going to do our side, or our flat line. So it'll still be, the front will still be flat lined, it's just that we're going to assemble the fronts first before we do it. I was just talking to someone about which way do you press the seams? And, you know, I feel like going against what I said because that's the side seam. I was like, why does that line up so perfectly? Oops. That's funny. I was like, that's nice. Look at, that was so satisfying lining it up like this. Like right here, I was like, ooh, look at that. Because there's a little like jog right here for the seam allowance on the underarm, or the princess seam. This is what it looks like. That was funny. This thread's a little thick. A little too far over, I can tell. The quilting cotton is almost too easy to sew. You noticed it too, Terry? That's funny. I didn't. It was only my 3rd princess seam today. Now you hate to see that, like these are matching, but the outers didn't. It's funny. This I can sew going up. I really like sewing with the side front on top. I find it a lot easier to do. But with that one corduroy, it would have been going against the nap, and I don't really know if it really makes a difference. What are we touching? I wanted to go from the top down. That notch, oh shoot, dang. That looks really far away. Oh, this one's okay. Okay, let's press these. Are these working? They are working. So what do we think? Do we think we should press the seam open for the welt? I think we should. I don't know if this helps, but I like the idea of the terry cloth helping keep the nap, you know, fluffy. We need the salami for the boobage. By the way, if you follow the Cashmerette instructions for the Auburn Blazer, they're really good, and they have a step-by-step tutorial, like a week-by-week blog. I remember looking at it a lot when I first sewed this because I wanted to make sure that I kind of stuck to their instructions, even though I made that one mistake. So, yeah, just so you know, why? Oh my gosh. You have options for instruction. The blog posts are pretty good. Sorry, I don't know why I keep reinventing my whole setup here. So if Sarah says, hey, why did she press the seam open when just last night she told me to press it towards the front? It's because of the welt pocket. I might change my mind. Let's see what we think. I think that, see, I don't like that right there. We could clip it. I like that idea. Let's clip it right here. And press it towards the front here. I think that's better. Yeah, I like that. That looks better. Especially if you're like a regular customer of Cashmerette's and you buy because of they make for full busts, like very full busts. You are paying attention to bulk right here. So, yeah, I think that looks nicer. Oh, this is the pocket. I wonder what I did on my other blazer. Because it's canvas. That would mean me looking back at a stream, and I'm not doing that. Could I press this way? What do we think? To offset it? I mean, yeah, I think we can. Okay, cool. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. All right. You can't get the Auburn in your size? What? Really? I don't know where the face cam is anymore. You know that they have 2 size ranges, right? Like 0 to... Is it 0 to 20 and 12 to 32 or something like that? Nice, Shem. It's probably like been one project ever. You and I are sewing the same, right? Okay. So we're going to set our lining aside and we're going to work on our, we can also set, oh, here's my little, my little decoration too. I was planning on doing that. Oh my God, it is so hot in here. I may have to go turn the air down. Where's the, let me find my back neck facing. I think it's on top of the sleeves, but under the body. Nope, here it is right here. I always stack it in order. They don't have the Auburn in the small, what? Really? Oh, I'm sorry. I did not know that. I actually thought it came in both size ranges. Huh. I really thought that came in both size ranges. That's nuts. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. But maybe a little more detail. I don't want to hand sew, Tiffany. Let's just think on this a little bit. I'm just going to play around with my scissors and think. I'm going to cut you off, but leave you. We're making choices. This might be just too much to do. Oh, that was too close. We're gonna have to leave. We're gonna have to cut this down like that. You know what I could do instead is I could do like just a continuous line drawing stitching on the facing that is this bird. Like I could enlarge the bird, just draw it out or something, you know? But I'm not sure how the stitching, like, you know, like a jean pocket, I'm not sure how that would look on corduroy. I may have to think about this. Maybe we don't do this right now. Oh, no way I could do that. Well, we'll just leave that there for now. Yeah, I will interface it. I'm not doing anything yet. I'm just thinking. I could applique stitch it on with my Bernina, just zigzag it on. That might be the way to go, honestly. Or I could, Yeah, I think that's, I don't know. I may not like that. We'll just think about it. All right, I'm going to get my welts here, and we're going to just sew the ends of the welts, which I think are 3/8. Hope so. I'm still floored that the Auburn doesn't come in the full size range. Huh. Have they done things where they've added expanded sizing for a pattern they released before? Have they done that? Or are they just like, nope, that's it? I'm kind of curious. Yeah, exactly. We mentioned the Jessica yesterday, I think, because, and that could be why they don't have, actually, I bet that's it. I'll bet they don't expand the sizing maybe because Closet Core has the Jessica, and the Jessica doesn't come in the 12 to 32 range. So they probably are just kind of helping each other out that way. Kind of low key, you know? I always recommend the Jessica for people too, or Jessica. Yeah, I know, Mullen. It's different. Can't fit everybody, right? That's what someone would say there. I got the whales perfectly here lined up. Oh, that's because this has this little angle. That's why I'm like, wait, it's lined up here, but not there. I'm just going to stitch it closed here. This would be totally 100% something I would have skipped doing, that little stitch. But it's just a quality of life thing, you know. We're going to press it too. I like, oh, no. I like the idea of the applique on that bird, but I don't want it to look Becky Homeki. I love all Beckys. I just don't want to look like the Homeki Becky. Just like marveling at the fact that this is a left and a right welt for sure. Because of the nap, you know. Let's just press it real quick. This is the right side, so I'm going to put it right side down. Are you trying to say my blazer's going to look Becky Homeki on the inside, Tiffany? Wow. You were the one who helped me pick this lining out. I feel like you set me up. All right, so this is the right one and this is the left. So let's put a pin in the right. I mean, I'm going to double check it like 1,000 times and probably still get it wrong. All right, so let's put our facing of our pocket here. The secret Homeki. The secret Becky inside. It is pressing really nice. Secret Homeki don't count. Yeah. I mean, all of it's secret Homeki, right? I don't think I've ever said Becky Homeki as with just the word Homeki, and now I'm realizing it probably refers to home ec class, not home. Home and rhyming with Becky. I don't know how I never got that. That's funny. You could also overlock this edge and then just top stitch it flat. It won't show since this is just like a little, we would have called this pocket flash as a pattern piece, or pocket facing. So it's like if someone gets a flash of the inside of your pocket, they would see the self fabric rather than the lining. So that's why we always called it a pocket flash. But that term flash is used other ways. Anytime you get like a flash of the inside or something. Okay, so we have that. Now the long dock of Moria. No, I hate marking welts. You know, I don't have a way to change. I don't like marking welt pockets. We are going to need the outer. I don't think we need the lining yet. I have a welt template over there. And the pattern pieces are over there. All right, so we're just gonna do the swapperoo again. I just won't zoom it out this time. Nice, Shim. Okay, so we'll probably be over here twice, I think. I was gonna make the shoulder, like cover the shoulder pads today, but I'll just wait till we need them. We'll cover them then, just so like the whole thing is like together, you know, like the, we're sewing the same things at the same time. All right, so we have our front here. How does the, I cannot see anything. I'm a little off center, aren't I? We're gonna have to close our blinds. This is where I'm standing, so we'll go like this. Okay. So I always make this little template. So here is my pattern, and obviously I've moved things a little bit. So that's why you see this photocopy of the welt pocket up there, right? So now let's just talk a few things. If you're having trouble placing your welt pocket, you can move it, right? So I'm just gonna, this is how this is just roughly gonna sew like this, right? Now, as long as I am within the seam allowance of the bottom here, this is the hem and the seam allowance here, right? We're gonna be okay. I actually think I might trim it down a little bit, even though I did trim it, or lengthen it a little bit. Let's see where we're at. Are we in the ballpark? This is a little lower. It's the pink one here. Because this edge goes to the bottom edge of your welt. This edge goes to the top. So this seam allowance here would go to the top edge of your welt. So I'm just, right now what I'm trying to do is decide, do I want to cut down my pocket? And maybe I could do that at the very end and go, okay, if this is folded up, what do I think, you know? So this sews to It's gonna be like that. Yeah, like that. So this edge right here is a seam line. So it would be 1/2 inch away from this one. So I'm making this cut line a 1/2 inch away, right? And then this bottom one would be a 1/2 inch away from this edge. So this can get raised a little bit, right? The opening's only half. I also narrowed the opening on this well. This is one area where I disagree with how they sew their welts. I don't like this gigantic opening pocket. I just like a traditional 1/2 inch welt opening. 1/2 inch or 3/4 inches is kind of where I like. So this right here would be the seam. No, this is the seam right here. And so this makes the pocket kind of really close. So I think I'm going to trim off like just a 1/2 inch off my pocket. Maybe we'll do 3/4. We added back like 3 inches yesterday, so that's okay. We have some to spare. And the shorter view isn't supposed to get pockets. I added them, so bonus, right? So now I'm going to, is it this one here? Yeah. I'm gonna lay this on here. I can see my dots from last time, and one thing I will say, don't spend a ton of time marking your outer. Don't. It's a waste. So I'm just going to go like this a little bit. Ballpark, okay? The reason I say that is that this is the piece that you're going to sew through. This is going to be face up. So if this is this pocket, it's going to be, if that's the back one, you're going to sew like this. Yeah, okay. I was just like, wow. Yeah, and then this wraps around like this. Yeah, okay. I had to think about that. Wow. Okay, so now, so you have to place this on top of yourself like this, and that's why I say don't spend a ton of time marking this, because the chances of you getting this box marked on here is like exactly the same as the box you're going to mark on this piece is so slim that you shouldn't waste that time. So we're going to mark this box on here, and I want this opening to be a 1/2 inch from my edge here. So I'll use some markers so you guys can see better. Take one from the team here. It'll be washable anyway. Let me see which one's not dried up right now. All right, so I'd rather have like 3/4 of an inch up there. So we're going to give myself a little bit of space. I don't like it when it's super fiddly up there. All right, so now I'm going to line up this top cut edge to that line, and I'm just going to center it, and I'm just eyeballing it, honestly. But if you wanted to be, you could go like this. Mark the center. Right? There's my center. You can mark the center. I'm showing you this way just because like this way you have some tools, like if you're designing your welt or maybe you got yourself into a pickle, right? All right, so now we have, that's our center. I'm gonna double check it. Honestly, I would much rather use a ruler to draw it too. It's way more accurate. Whoops. Speaking of accurate, it's way more accurate. I'm gonna tell myself out loud, it's the outer marking right here. Okay. And now this, we just need to line up on here where that hair marker is right there. and make sure, is this where we want our pocket? So you look at this hole in relation to your bodice. Is that where we want that? Let's see where it's at here. It's a little further that way and down. This one's right here. It's like up there. So I think that I'll stick with that. And then I'm gonna go measure my blazer, which is right here. Let's see what it is. It is 3 3/4 from the center front. So that'd be like 4 1/4. So we can move it that way a tiny bit. I like that idea. Like that. Making sure my seam allowance is pressed open. All right, so this is my pocket placement. We still need to add the welt, by the way. I should have done that first. I don't know why I skipped ahead. Shoot dang. I'm getting pins, sorry. I don't know why everyone has you marking everywhere, because it really makes it so much harder to sew when you're trying to stack markings that potentially could be a little bit off from one another. You know, that's why I just say do it where you want it, and just don't look at everything else except for, okay, here's my pocket opening. Where do I want this on the garment? And you want your pocket, right, to hang with the grain line, right? And I know my corduroy is on grain, so like if I were to follow this side, maybe we tilt it a little bit like that, right? There we go. So I'm just gonna pin this down low here, and I'm gonna mark this on here for where I sew my welt. So this time it will be handy to have it marked on there. So now when I put my welt on here, I know that's the line that I'm going to sew it at. Okay, so now let's do our other one. So we said 4 1/4 from center front. So it's going to be along that line there. And, well, we could lay this on top too. What if we did that? Let's go like this. Use it to get some symmetry. These aren't lining up very well down here. Look at how well it works on there. Crazy. Okay, marking my line on this top edge. Finding the center. Lining this line up with that line there. Okay. Is that my center right there? Oh yeah, okay. That works. I can see my little fold of my paper, and I'm lining it up with that center right there, right? We're gonna draw it in this time. I think it's washable. Okay. Let's see how close I am to that. That's perfect. Okay, we good. So now we need to attach our welts. The cord really loves the hair marker. That's a very big surprise to me. Hey Terry, how's it going? What are we stuck on? Oh, okay. Okay, so I feel like I did a few things kind of out of like sequence, but we're going to sew our welts on first right here so that they're sitting here. So now you need to make sure you have the right one, right? So we want the high end. I have a nap, so I'm looking at that right here, right? So this is the one. And for the Cashmerette, well, there's actually, it's a bigger opening, and you line up this edge to that opening. So do I want to cut down my welt because of the seam allowance? Maybe. Maybe we'll trim like 1/8 of an inch off. Since they're assuming my opening is a lot wider across, you know? Yeah, it's... a bad marking is worse than no markings. You know? That's what I think. And I get it, like, it does probably look kind of crazy that I'm just, it looks probably like I'm winging it, and I'm not, I promise. I'm nervous just like you guys are, I promise. Okay, so this right here is where I'm gonna sew this welt at, right there. I knew it, this pin doesn't matter. I'm gonna check them 1,000 times. Where's my pin cushion at? Oh, it's over here. I really need a smaller pin cushion. Okay. Yeah, that line down the center is really helpful that they give you, because then you can make sure you're lining it up parallel. I'm gonna line it like that. I love how much longer I spend on this with you guys. Okay, I'm gonna start here and back up to the edge, because I really hate the little thread ends being at the corners. I know that's really weird, but it's just my preference. But we're gonna go straight. Sounds like I'm sewing corduroy, doesn't it? Like, see these little thread ends from top stitching that seam? That's so annoying. I know better. I shouldn't have done that. Because those little thread ends, like, Sometimes you just can't trim them like small enough. They're so annoying. Oh, see now, this is a little low, so we're gonna slide this down. We want this to be on our seam line of our welt there. So now the welt's gonna dictate where everything goes. So I'm just looking at it kind of, maybe I didn't need to slide it all the way down, but that's not parallel. Let's see, is that the line? My welt, when I did the welt SBS, I really spent a lot of time figuring out how to do this so that's not all this second guessing. But I didn't watch my own SBS before we started today. Oh, I just pulled on it. I thought it was pinned down and it's not. All right, so we're gonna, let's see, first we're gonna fold like this so I can see a crease line, right? All right, and now we'll fold the other way. Bye, Julie. Sleep well, friend. These pins are throwing me out. I keep thinking it's pinned to there, but it's not. All right, now we're just gonna sew around the perimeter of the box. I take my stitch length down a little bit here. And I always start in the middle, don't start at the corner. That'll just really throw you off. I don't like how close that is. That's just too low. That's way too low. That's way too low. Why did it get that low? I can see the crease of the pocket flap right there. There we go. That looks better. Let's see. So yeah, that's our sew line. We want that to be like a 1/4 of an inch away because we have a 1/2 inch box, right? So we want this raw edge to kind of be in the middle, you know? Sometimes I get really distracted trying to be like, what if I did this? What if I did that? What if I did this? All right. See, look, it's still down there really low. I don't want that so low. I want it right in the middle like that. I think when I'm pinning it, I'm pulling it down by accident. It's probably the nap, you know, remember when I showed you yesterday how just going like this was moving it, like it traveled down the nap? That's probably what's happening. Didn't think about that. You test your manufacturing machine with the second spool of normal gold thread and it looks amazing. Oh, good. That's awesome. I'm just gonna shut my blind a little bit. Michael texted me. He's like, so how was the wait this morning on the drive up here? Because it's been taking me 30 or 40 minutes to drive up here. It's 5 miles away because of the construction. They're redoing the whole road. It's like a huge, huge project. And y'all see that, right? It's like right there. And I was a little nervous today. I was like, when I'm streaming, it's really puts me kind of on edge because, like, what time do I need to leave, you know? And like yesterday, I caught it at the worst time. I caught it because when I pulled out on the street, all the people were coming down, so I was like, oh shoot, I already missed it, and I have to drive up there. I'm gonna at the very beginning of the line going going up there, and I was, and it took me forever. Well, today I hit it perfect. He wants to know because he's like, do I drive up there or not? Okay, so I'm gonna go past my opening here because I want to be off of the flap. You have to be off the flap when you turn right here. And we'll come up. You have to be flexible with welts, I think. I think you should be flexible with welts. And so this one will cut a little shorter probably. You cannot turn, you cannot stop needle down and turn on your flap. You will have problems with it. I have to start over right here. Oh, I'm so hot. That's why I close my blind. My computer makes things pretty warm in here. The seam allowance pushed my presser foot off right there. That's why I had to do that. Okay, so here's the end of my flap right here. So that's where I would like to pivot. I'm just gonna go to the regular. Right here. I have to be off of it. By the time I get to this seam here, pivot off of it and then go onto it. The next stitch should be the one going onto it. Angled welts are a little fancy, you know? Hi, Dina, how's it going? Oh, neat. I love that. Remembering things you've sewn, it's been a while. Like, I'll forget complete things I've made. I'm like, whatever happened to that? All right. I spend so much time on these for you guys. I just want you to know I spend a lot more time on these. I'm so nervous I'm going to get it wrong. I would have already been binding by now. All right, we're going to cut this. You'd rather sew a double welt? So I think this kind is the easiest because you don't have to, it's not a true welt. A true welt, you will, the ends of the covers get sewn to the end of the opening. This is, I call this, what do I call this? Like a welt cover style. So, see, and like this right here, this, that better not be the end of my flap. I can't even get into this corner because of the welt there, or the flap. It's covering it up. So I'm going to take out a couple stitches. If I sewed these a lot, I would have remembered that, but I don't. Okay, so now we have our opening. I make sure none of my stitching is showing, you know. Are they, Terry? Yours turn out really nice, though. Okay, everything looks, I think, pretty good. All right. And guess what? It won't matter because this is going to cover everything. And even if you have a gap here, like I have a little gap, you 100% can fake that with hand sewing when you stitch this down, just so you know, okay? All right, so now we just make sure we have a nice little window here, right? And then when this is attached, we just have to do that to make sure that this is going to be not too long, right? Might be a little too long. It's still a little too long. Oh, maybe it's okay. Don't you think that might be a little too long? It should be right here. We could probably raise this up pretty safely. We don't want this to get too short though. But look at how much I just raised it. Why does this look shorter than my last pockets? All right, let's press this. Sometimes what I do here is I will press this like this. Just kind of press it one way. And then when I go to press it the way I really want it to, it likes to be pressed that way easier because it's been like kind of squished, you know? There we go. Take this out of the way. I really like that little corner there. Oh, there we go. That's okay. This right here is funky, and it's because of that weird shape at that seam allowance that I should have done this. I should have not cut that. That's what's happening there. All right, so now that we have this pressed, let's see, how much do I need to get rid of on my pocket up there? Because this goes to the top here. Quite a bit. That's really annoying. I think I'm just gonna cut it at the bottom of the pocket though. Leave this. And then I can sew a seam straight across here and trim it down, you know? I wonder if I made some adjustment to that pocket last time and I just never went back and fixed the pattern. All right, so what do we have left here? Because of this flap and my thickness, I don't think I'm gonna need to stitch this down here, but I think I will stitch this edge here. Just the top. I'm just gonna stitch the top. Just to kind of help it. You guys can't see anything. Why aren't you complaining? There's not a lot of room. Hi Jan, how's it going? Understitching. Huh. Am I forgetting to where do you understitch? Sorry. Is this okay? Why does it look so weird? looks okay. Okay. On the pocket. The pocket is going to be on the inside. If this were like a trouser back pocket, I would stitch in the ditch here. But this is a little different because of the flap there. I think that looks nice. Sometimes I will stitch here, but I'm not going to on this one. It looks good, and I feel like sometimes you can really poke the bear with that, you know? So, all right, so now as far as the, oh, look at all that thread there. Let's get rid of the thread vomit. What the heck? I have so much thread vomit there. What the heck? May have been a loose thread that got caught in there. Or maybe I just go like that and call it a day. How short is this pocket? That's fine. We can see plenty of the flash in there. So let's just do that. That's simpler, right? So now I'm going to clean up the opening by stitching around kind of out on the pocket. But first I'm going to stitch this across the top here. Oh my goodness, I'm being so fussy. Here we go. I'm just going to roll this up like this. Pull this like that. Do like that. There are so many really great accurate ways to do this, and I'm really being cavalier here. I'm going to stitch the pocket down so that I have it secure, and then I'm going to clean this up because I have to shorten my pocket. That's why I'm doing this right here. Wait, this is not right. This is so not right. What the heck? Not being that cavalier. I'll just sew the other one quickly so you don't have to suffer through this again. Where is it? Here it is. My goodness. What is that about? Okay, we have our opening. We want it like this. Like that. I'm just going to pin through all layers to make sure this time. Roll it up like that. That's much more reasonable. I was like, how come I'm cutting off all of the facing? Okay, that looks better. Still looks like a lot. Sorry, I keep second guessing. It's like fine, right? I want to pin this shut, but I don't think I can get close to it. If I do, I'll try. There we go. I'm just trying to hold it together until I have this part secured. Okay, let's check it. Our pocket won't hang down below now, right? Phew. No need to do a French seam since no one will see it. Okay, so now I'm gonna stitch the top pocket down to the pocket here. I'm gonna do this first. Actually, I'm gonna do the triangles first. So we're gonna list, this is kind of an important welt pocket step. We're gonna lift this up, and this little triangle right here that we pulled to the, you know, like when we cut the opening there, I'm gonna try and pull this flap out of the way too. And you wanna keep this nice and straight. So I'm gonna pull this back here, and we're gonna stitch this triangle seam, like that little seam, that little short end, all the way through all the layers right here. This will help kind of frame your welt, and it actually is one of the things that makes it kind of go, you know? It keeps it really stable there. So now here again, I'm gonna pull my flap out of the way. I'm kind of pushing this fabric like this because I don't want the lining to show. So sometimes I'll even go like this. I'll take the lining and I'll give it a little tug. Can you kind of see that? And then I'm gonna stitch right where that stitching is. Get it that pop. Let's get this welt out of the way. It's kind of thick right there, so it may not want to. I just used that as my back stitch. That was so awkward. There we go. Ooh, I did a little bit too aggressively. And then this welt will fill that in once I fit it, like hand sew it down and all that. Could have been a little closer. Don't try and choke up that hole though. Like if you get a hole there, don't try and choke it up with the that stitching I just did. It will look funky. All right, now we can stitch down this opening. Again, I probably could have done this at this point, not earlier. Double dipping. If you want to go all like down these two sides as well, you can, but I'm not going to. They're going to get covered with the flap. All right, so now there's our little welt. Cutting all this off. Everything I added, we cut off, pretty much. All right, where's my other one? It's in the lint lava. One more to go. I really want to see chat over there. There we go. That's better. All right. Whoa, man, we have to do all that again? Okay. Okay. We won't go all the way to the edge this time. Making sure my seam is pressed open. I almost went to the edge there. I probably went too far. Okay, that one, oh, look at that. That one's a lot lower right there. In that case, I might, that's tricky. So right now what happened was, see that? My problem with this is I would much rather unstitch this, pull it up a little bit. I think what happened was when I went over the hump of the seam, the machine kind of came down and it kind of just slightly bent to the left. My problem with taking it out is that where I take that out is 100% gonna show. You know what I mean? So, like I'm better off lowering that side than raising that side. You know what I mean, jelly beans? Because I'm not sure if the corduroy will be very forgiving. You just never know. You just never know. Yeah, I can see it bend right there after the hump. That's so annoying. So let's just take out the rest of it and pull it down just slightly. Because this little edge, this like seam that I'm ripping out, that'll get enclosed in the welt. So it's not as like critical, you know? So leave it. I don't want it to be crooked though. Like I don't want it to be not symmetrical to the other side, starting right off the bat. Okay. Oh, I have a little more to go. Okay, taking out corduroy, not easy. Oh, yeah. I actually was thinking if this was Terry, she would do the other side. Sometimes I try to do the right thing. Okay, let's get rid of all these threads. This is going to have a cascading effect, I feel like. Because this is not going to be quite right. I feel like I showed you guys kind of the clunkiest way to sew welts today, but this is kind of what I would do. I would just position it as I go and not really rely completely on the pattern just because, not that the pattern's wrong, the patterns are right, but you know, like you just never know. Things kind of change when you finally get around to getting, you know, like getting your, like once you have all your stuff cut, marked, things shift, you know? I sort of wish I could see this. This is what I want to do. That's what I want to do. Fold that, position this where I want it. Absolutely. We're not here for the speed. No, stay on there, stay on there. Oh, 100% a zipper foot would be better here. Oh my gosh, my welt's way down here. Oh my goodness. Good thing I shorted the other one. We need to be here. We need to pivot right here. Oh my goodness. We trimmed this one down, right? Oh, we did turn it down. I remember sweeping away like 2 trimmings. See how it looks. It's not very straight, so I'm just gonna straighten that box out a little bit. But I'm gonna start like inside, like way out here before I do it. It's not easy because the thickness of this welt really wants to kind of bully my presser foot. I don't know if that actually helped, but we'll see. All right. I really should have watched my SBS on pocket, like the welts, because like I know how to sew welts. I just wanted to make sure I presented something that was really consistent, you know, like easy to replicate, no guesswork, stuff like that. And so I sat there and I spent some time on it and I'm like, oh, this is great, I'll do this. This is what I should always do. Don't do these enough though, I guess, huh? I just need to do more welts, right? I always do these layers separately. And I'm a little nervous, like I can feel that down back there, so. If I can't get into the corner, sometimes I'll take my seam ripper, poke it in the corner, and then just tear away from it like that. Okay. Did I see a pin? Oh yeah, it's on the pocket. Okay, that's fine. Let's see. I'm always looking for tucks or weird drag lines, but see how I can get this pretty smooth when I really pull like that? That's how I know I'm okay. This one was on the cusp right here, but that not worth fiddling, you know? All right, let's press it a little bit. We're almost done with the welts, and then we can move on to something more satisfying. Let's see if I can do this where I iron it, stitch it at the very end. Don't double stitch it. Okay. right, so let's see if I can press this or pin this opening. And now still get here to sew that, to shorten it. I knew this would happen somewhere. I got one strand of terry cloth. Terry, do the terries in chat jump every time I say terry cloth? Anytime someone says ceremony, I'm always like, huh. Okay, let's trim or sew this pocket opening, or not opening, sorry. I'm trimming down my pocket lining here. That's the flap in the way, okay. Don't want to distort the rectangle. That's why I'm being really careful. Then I'm going to double check I didn't distort the rectangle. Where's this pin? Oh my goodness. Okay, we have our rectangle. Now I can sew this down. We can trim this. Let's put that in the bin so we know something has to happen with that. All right, we'll sew our triangles, get the flap out of the way. Did I do the sides of my pocket on the other one? That'd be really funny if I didn't. I don't think I did. I'm pretty sure I did not. We're gonna do that right now. Do the sides of your pocket. Pretty sure I did not do the sides of the pocket on the other side. That is barely, that flash is barely showing here. Side seam. Okay, now we can do, so this, you want to do your 3 sides, you can do your 3 sides. I'm just going to do the top edge since eventually we'll be sewing the flap down. See you later, Shem. I feel like this right here and stitching the triangles are what bring your welt together. Like that's what makes it go, okay, this is gonna be okay. All right, so we just need to do the side seams of our other, and now we're gonna do some flat lining. Yep, look, that would have been kind of a bummer to discover later. Okay. So now, let's get rid of some of these threads in here. Can lay our flat line here. So when I do the binding, I'm going to do the side seams, the shoulders, princess seams on the back, center back seam. That's kind of my plan. Not the armhole till the sleeve is on. Not the center front, because that'll be a facing seam. Yeah. Let's go over, let's go to the iron. So now look, our pocket won't show. That's why we did it this way. Oh, I don't know, Jan. Do we have anyone from Florida? I can't think of anyone. But I know like some of the other southern states are getting it. Terry had a storm yesterday. Is that because of that hurricane, Terry? Make sure we have no bubbles or anything. Right? Oh, really, Tiffany? You are too? You're getting rain and yuck here. Oof. Wow. It was 80% humidity here and like cool out. It was really weird. It's like being in Humboldt. I should be pinning from the right side since that's the way I'll probably bind, but it'll probably be okay. As long as I've got it nice and secure. So do we think the binding attachment's gonna be okay with the corduroy? Because I have no idea. I have no idea. Oh, I pressed this seam. Oh no, never mind. I did press it. Oh, I offset it. Okay, good. Okay. Let's look at a few others. Do this. So if when you do the like the Sylvan jacket, the seam allowances would stick out of the lining. They stick out past on these two seams, for example, and then you would sew these two pieces right sides together, and then when you turn it, the seam allowance wraps around this edge, so you see a little bit of seam allowance here. If you ever go, I don't think a Sylvan's on my website. It should be, but it's not there yet. If you have to scroll back kind of since beginning of this year to see my Sylvan and the inside of it. It's really fun and satisfying to sew. It's a really great way to flatline and get finished seams and everything all in one. Would have been a smart thing to do on this, honestly. I feel like the only thing that's a drawback, oh, I have to add to my vent here, so we'll do that in a second, is, and this is silly, but you can't have contrast binding on your seam allowances. It's going to match your lining. So, okay, so I'm going to piece my vent together on the lining because I didn't have enough to recut. I forgot the vent yesterday, you guys. So, it's 79 in Missouri. Wow. Yeah, I think it was 95 here yesterday. Oof, that's cool. Mullen. I was actually really cold this morning, though. It was 58 degrees, though, so, you know. This is a 1/2 inch seam. I tried to match the print, but no guarantees. I just forgot just to do my vent, so we're just going to pretend like I didn't. Oh, I actually did pretty good matching the print there, right? So that's how it will look. Okay, so then my other one is right here. One of these took all this time to match the bird, and then when I looked at it, I was like, that doesn't look like it's going to match the bird at all. This is the one. Oh, not bad. Okay, it's not as bad as I thought. So that. For you to leave work. Oh, night. Okay, Stephanie, have a good day. Drive safe. Okay, so now we have just these two, and then we'll start the binding. We're just going to pin these to here. I recut the backs, so they're okay. They're not pieced together, in case you're wondering. I'll show you. This feels more like a Twitch stream to me. If you know, you know. I'm just like not talking. Just relaxed. Get that wrinkle out of there. Hopefully I can get around that vent with the binding attachment. Kooky fabric. I love it. It's super kooky. Of course, after I bought this, I saw another colorway and I was like, wait a minute. But I'm a big fan of this grass green. So, all right. So now let's hook up our binding attachment. Did you interface the lining? Nope, I did not. Mainly because the outer is corduroy, and I wasn't really going for traditional blazer techniques. That's why I just didn't want to line. I just wanted something kind of casual, you know. That being said, I did do the upper shoulder, the chest shield interfacing. I did do that one. Do I even use the screwdriver for this? I don't think I do, honestly. But why is this so wiggly? Is it always that wiggly? This needs to go way over here. What am I thinking? Okay, something like that. I'm using the binding attachment because otherwise it'll take forever. Now I'm just clearing the decks. Moving stuff out of the way. The tape is just to hold my screw on the attachment when I'm not using it because it's easy to lose. Do we know where the pin cushion is? Like, did it fall? Am I looking right at it? Oh, yeah. I brought it over to the ironing board, and I thought that was the ironing board one. Terry. Yeah, right? I don't think it's supposed to be that wiggly either. Yeah, let's tighten them. I was like, there's usually some play. Is this not going to work? I'm making it work. It's not going to work. This does allow you to move it that way. But really what I like is being able to adjust the whole thing this way. And I get this fold just to the left of my needle. Now, one thing I will say is that the presser foot for this machine, it's not 100% ideal for this attachment. And I say that because, oh, I'm supposed to cut this 1.5. Anyway, the split toe right here, what happens is the edge of your binding will like go through into the toe. So it's really zoomed in. Are you like that? Okay, I think it goes this way. I think this attachment though does a really great job, and like compares to the one I had that was permanently installed. This one does really good. I think it did some things better than my old one. Why are you being hard to get started? Oh, that's why. There we go. Okay. Oh, shoot, dang. We can't do blue thread. We can't do blue thread. Not even I would do that. You answered too. I would too. I totally answer myself. I wasn't going to tell Jan that, but I don't want her to think I'm crazy. This morning, I was putting on some blush, and I thought, what would Jan do? Where's the hole? Well, it's funny because I got this recommended video. If you're over 40 and you're doing your blush, you're probably doing it wrong. I'm going to update you guys. And I was like, I don't usually watch makeup tutorials. I watched this. I was like, okay. I was like, oh, 100% I probably do that. I don't even know. But I don't do all the contouring and I don't do all that. So I was like, I don't even know what to do in this case. Okay, I'm not going to start with the back because of the vent. I want to get my sewing legs under me. Let's start on a side seam. And we're going to start with the corduroy face up. Here we go. Oh, like a champ. But can you see that the, can you see that? So right here, there's a little shadow. That's the binding trying to come up between the toes. If it becomes a problem, see there it goes. What I can do is move this a little that way. So see now I can do that too, and it puts the fabric under the toe, under the foot. But if it gets too bad, you'll get a crease in your binding, and you can just press it out. But it's you don't want an extra step, you know. See, right here? See, I'm getting this little crease. That's from that issue. See, I'm not getting it here. So, if you're getting that, lift up your presser foot, and then just slide it ever so slightly to the left. You're going to have to find a happy balance because you need this fold to end under this toe. So, yeah. All right, so let's do another one. We're gonna economize our binding here. Just slam it right up against the next one. So now I'm not getting that. So now the drawback is that my stitching is further in on the binding. So you're always trying to find what you're willing to deal with. That works so good. Look at that. Let's do the princess seam. It's still doing it. Maybe if I kept my awl right here, that would do it. If I could keep something right here, right? I can't, it's kind of hard. If I pushed it that way more, maybe loosening these two screws, pushing it all the way up. That might work. Ooh, we're a little off here. See, it gets that ugly wrinkle though. Oh, I didn't press my seams, and here comes one. Oh, there it went. That was easy. There we go. That worked. Ah, so good. There we go. That's that little fold edge. So I'm doing it with this side face up because this is technically the side, you know, when I press the seam, you would see it. But maybe I should be doing it wrong side up because this side I'm not going to get that crazy fold, you know? This looks good. It's very fun. This is dessert, man, like the reward for your welts. Okay, there's side backs. Let's do the shoulder seams on the front. Let's do it with the lining side up, since that side's looking nicer for the binding. Yeah, let's do it wrong side up. I do get the texture of my feed dogs on there. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of bright, huh? You know, we want to do this side seam. We don't need to do the armhole until we do the sleeve. This works. It's still a lot to manage, but it's working. Okay, that's all we can pretty much do on the fronts. On the front. Let's do this front here. I think this attachment is, oh, actually, I don't think it is. I was gonna say it's linked to my tools. It's not because I got it from Waywack. So I don't think I put any, it might be there. When you're buying a binding attachment though, what you're looking for when you see the width of it, they're gonna tell you like 1.5 inch wide bias binding foot. That is the cut width of the binding. So if it's, look at it this way, if you're like, yeah, that doesn't tell me what the finished width is, it does, because it's usually 1/4 of the measurement is the finished width, or roughly in that range. It's not going to be perfectly 1/4 of that measurement, and that's because, you know, you have the thickness here and you have a lot of folds, and the top and bottom folds don't go all the way to this edge, right? So it's roughly that. So this is a 1.5 inch foot, and then the binding, you know, is finishing like 3/8. Yeah, like almost perfectly 3/8. They do, and mine doesn't. Mine just says 1.5 right here. That's what that says. Or it'll say 35 millimeter or something like that, you know. 35 millimeter is 1 3/8 inch wide cut binding. That's what I usually use. Is this cord? It is there. How about I do that? So yeah. If you're shopping, that's what it means. All right, so we have our fronts ready. We have our fronts really far, actually, because we just did the welts, right? And then we have them assembled, too. I thought I'd wear my Itch to Stitch dress since she came out with a new pattern this week. That's so cute. I love it. I love the way that little pattern looks. Really cute. All right, so the back, I want the whole thing here. So we're gonna try and turn a corner here. Oh, I have a raw edge right here. I forgot about that. Well, we could try and do that. I'm gonna fold it in. Let's see. I really should just adjust that screw, but this is working. All right, here we are to this. Let's see if I can. I want to do the whole thing. It's not like a serger, but we're going to try. I'm going to fold it back like this for now. Right? No, I'm not going to do that. Oh, this is probably a bad idea. I could totally do this by hand. I probably should have done it, not hand, but like. And we're going to pull that over, put it in there, both layers. And we're going to just gently round that corner there. I should have just rounded it to begin with. There we go. Oh, almost, but we can fix that. That's not bad though. Look at that. That looks pretty good. We can just fix that little bit right there. This is where I wink at you. Okay. And we're going to do this princess seam. Oh. I think I've done more seams and I didn't even notice them. I'm telling you, this one does seem so much better than my professional one. Here comes the seam, but look at how messy it is. Oof. Okay. Can get rid of all these pins too. You know, the welt, it folds back like this. So, I mean, the vent. Okay. See you, Renee. Have a good one. When I really save binding, this is what I do. I just pull it over like this and just shove it in there. Like that. And you can bet we did that in production. I can sell extra binding. I can't conjure it up from thin air. So I'd much rather have too much binding than not enough. And even still, we rarely even sold it until like we were sure we didn't want it. And then we just cut this apart right here. We didn't do garments, so it was a little different. All right, so let's see if we can do this from the opposite way. Can we get this to reach over here? Maybe I'll trim this down a tiny bit. I don't like doing that, but the binding will kind of probably make it wonky anyway, so. Okay, so now we're gonna go the other way. I'm gonna turn this under. The only reason I have to do this is because I had to piece together my vent because I forgot to cut it out with the vent yesterday, and I didn't have enough of this fabric to recut this center back. So I'm folding that under because otherwise it's a raw edge. All right, we're just gonna gently round this corner. This is probably where my binding won't catch on the other side. A little harder this time. And go as far as we can. And then I'm gonna pull this out. Can we get this in there further? It's not like a serger, so I'm not like cutting anything off. So you have some options there. Why is this going so well? Okay. Not bad. I'm not too worried about this because, like I said, the vent gets, you know, one side will get folded over. Oh, I caught on both sides. Wow, just barely didn't right here. Cool. See ya, Mullen. Sleep well. Hey, Rachel. How's it going? I am still going. I'm just chilling. We did welt pockets, and now I'm doing all the fun stuff like binding. I think we're ready to start assembling now. Right? I got both shoulders, seams, flat line and bind, center back to side back. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna fix any spots that we found first before we change our thread color. We need the super important piece of tape, both directions, because it's a slippery little sucker. This piece of tape's starting to fail a little bit. Fancy screw wrangling tape. All right, so we have this one right here that fell off. I think my lofty goal, what was my lofty goal, Terry? It was like center back to side back, vents, shoulders, and all the way to under collar. I think we might be able to do that. We'll see. We'll see. Oof, I almost cut that. There we go. Okay. There we go. All right, let's just double check we didn't miss anything else, so we don't have to change our thread again. Okay. All the way to the under collar. So that's like the easy one. I'm just a little concerned with it because I didn't interface it and it's going to the corduroy, you know? Okay. Fronts. And then side backs. We're just double checking. We need the nail scrape to fix some of this crease before I started placing the awl there. This one looks kind of bad right here. See that? See, that's why you don't want that to happen. It's so annoying. Like, you can flatten it, I can press it, but it is... Okay, and then these are all caught. Get rid of these pins here. Get rid of this tail. All right. So now we're going to sew our side backs to our back. Get rid of these pins. They're everywhere. We weren't going to have any shifting. It's kind of weird to sew this together with the bound seam. Oh, let's change our thread. Oh, that's right, and my bobbin's not spinning. I forgot about that. I wonder if it's spinning and I didn't get the thread on there right. Let's make sure that's the issue. Let's see. It might be. Yeah, I think pressing will fix it. And it's going to be like on my back shoulder, that little spot. So I almost just took it out and re-sewed it with the cream thread. And I was like, you know, a little pressing. It's on the back shoulder, on the inside. We're not couture sewing very obviously, so. Oh, I had that threaded. I think twice in a row I just had that threaded, then pulled it out. Oakley dokley. We'll put this up here. And we can put our binding out of the way. All right. So now we're sewing this, making sure we're kind of still in the same seam allowance range too. This will be a little easier because not quite the curve that the side front and to the front has. It's a lot straighter. I put this my blazer on my dress form. I kind of a little tinge like maybe I should have made it a little bigger. It looks so good on my dress form. I remember at the time thinking I had made it a little big. It's just one of those things like I don't wear them very often, so I'm not actually very accustomed to how it should feel. Not too bad, huh? You know what I mean? It's kind of like when someone wears jeans without stretch in it for the first time in a while, or jeans at all, and all they've been wearing is like looser pants, and then they're like, oh, I'm realizing I just don't remember how this feels. I hear this noise and I'm like, is the needle need changing? This is surprisingly working out okay, even though The right half is much thicker. Probably because I can keep one side of the presser foot so squarely on. Oh, I'm pretty off down here. Oops. That's not good. That's probably the corduroy shifting. They matched on this one. Probably should fix that. I don't really want to though. Oh, got a pen. Yeah, this blue is nice. I think I got this from Hearts. It's like a warmer baby blue. I think of baby blues as being like really pale and infant, like juvenile. This is more grown up. Like a, it's not a chambray though. Chambray has that kind of like black tinge to it, you know? Okay, so let's press these seams. I'm pressing them open. Oh, I just went, that was the first time I went against the corduroy. I'll spend some time working on some of the binding by Saturday. Williamsburg blue, colonial blue, is that what you're saying? Oh, we're gonna do the center back seam, sorry. This camera's like right in front of my face. It's very zoomed in today. Should we zoom out a little bit? We can zoom out a little bit, right? So you can see what I'm doing. We really need to figure out the cord situation though. I just need to buy a new cord, and I get, every time I go to buy a longer USB cord, I get overwhelmed with getting the right one. I've bought them before and they fail. And so I just want to buy a good one that handles video. Oops, so sorry. That's really the only reason. I'm going to lower the brightness. It always does this now automatically. It's really annoying. That's the default. Jeez, sorry. I can handle this. So there's a glitch with Streamlabs, and I really wish they'd fix it, where, say I adjust all my lighting, and I want to make a micro adjustment. If I open up the dialog box to do it, it darkens everything immediately, and it's never done that before. It just started doing this like last few months. So, okay, so how does the vent get sewn? You go down the whole thing, right? I can't remember. This is everywhere? Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I can feel this top edge. Let's loosen the pressure up there. Get rid of this crease here. Don't I go all the way down and then you press it to one side? No, I go like this, right? Sorry, I can't remember how to do it. I know you're thinking, Saremy, you do tutorials all the time. Yeah, I do. But I actually spend time with those. I prepare. I get paid. Okay, right, this is how it goes. And it goes like this, right? It goes like this. And then you stitch one down and you hand stitch the other, right? Something like that. Well, I could stitch this down now. Oh my goodness, there we go. Pulling this apart. Something like that, right? What do I do about this? Not pressing the seam allowance open here? Do I just stop right there? Didn't think about that. I should have clipped this like a fly, like a zipper fly. I could have bound these two separately so that this can press open and this can press to the side. I might put a, oh, there's a cut in my fabric there. I'll put a note in, I should make a note of that. That's kind of interesting kind of thing. Don't I stitch one down? Right? It's like this, right? I hate cheap pins, and I really wish I would find them all. That looks at a weird angle. It's like that, right? Maybe like, we're gonna make it look straighter than it is, like that. Right? Yeah, and it goes through all layers right here. But do you stitch down you stitch down this, right? And this one? Like you do this one and then you do this, right? And this one just kind of hangs out. My jacket doesn't have one. I'm kind of scared to stitch this down because I don't want it to look crooked to the, oh! We sew this right sides together. We sew this right sides together. So we could, but I don't have this, I'm not going to do that. Okay, because I want to bind the whole hem first, and then I'm going to sew this right sides together like this, right, along here, and then turn it right side out, so it'll be like that, you know, like that, right? Okay, yeah, okay, that's what it is. Yeah, I just need to hem it and it'll be fine. All right, I'm not going to worry about it. Cool. All right. Except we do need to stitch through all layers of the vent. I do get that. So let's see here. Wait, and does it go this way, Terry? Does it go the other way, like this? Right? Yeah, so this way, okay. I'm gonna wait and make sure it hangs right before I commit. It's the shape of the back. I really want the corduroy to look on grain down here. Like this. That's what I want. like that. So we'll just stitch, we'll just do this. Okay, as a reminder. All right, shoulders. This is pretty thick. I don't think I needed to flatline it. But do we ever need cute? You know? We can do whatever we want. Do the side seam here. Still finding pins. Made my stitch length a little longer just because it's having, it's so thick. I also don't want to make sure I get it off here, so I'm going to pin this so I make sure my top layer doesn't scooch, you know? Yeah, I'll wait. I'll make sure, Terry. I could just look at the directions of the Auburn since I have them. Make sure. I'm going to do sleeve vents too. Get the pressing really helps. Yay. So the next thing is the under collar. It's only 2. Okay. Got a lot done today. Plus I had to cut my binding with you guys. Sorry about that. Promise to make a better video. Updated one. My original video though has a lot of information in it about like, if you're doing this kind of fabric, if you're doing that kind of fabric, like I really know like the ins and outs of some of that stuff. So let's press it. I don't think this is really looking how I envisioned, but I like it. To be fair, I had no idea what binding I was going to end up with. So I picked out a completely different binding to go with this lining fabric. And that's arriving today. And so this is my backup. And I bought 2 backups. So I still didn't even know when I bought my backup which one I was going to use. So I had 3 binding options. I decided to pick this one because it was the calmest of the 2 backups. Like a solid probably would have been good, you know? I have a blazer. Let's see. My chair's in the way, sorry. Oh, I like this length a lot. This actually feels thinner than my other one because my other one was the linen canvas. Still a very short pocket. Maybe I could have raised it up a little bit. Yeah. Terry, what about a jacket without sleeves? Like a full suit jacket with lapel and everything without sleeves. That's something weird about that, right? I'm pretty sure. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thanks for commenting, Rosalie. All right, so where's our under collar? Here it is. I feel like it needs interfacing. But I don't know. Do we want interfacing on it? Does that defeat the purpose of the bias? Look at all that. We did. Okay. Yeah, see, I feel like, I don't know, like with the top collar. Is that a 70s thing? Maybe that's what it is. Oh, I don't have my notches on here. Shoot, I may be foiled to do this right now. Oh, but we have the pattern piece right there. Let me just grab it real quick. And do I have interfacing in here? I do have this tricot. Like, no. Let me go get a piece of interfacing. I'll be right back. I feel like I have a big piece in here, but I can't think where I'd store it. This is big enough, I think. Oh my gosh, it's warm in here. Holy. Okay. Let's do. I think worst case scenario, if I decide at the last second I don't like the interfacing, I have enough fabric to cut a new collar. And we can just reattach it, you know. And then we're going to also need the pattern piece so that we can transfer the notches to the front. Oh my gosh, I got this by the way. This is a lint roller, but it's reusable. It works so much better than the kind where you peel the paper off. I'm not kidding. It's incredible. And then you just put a little bit of soap and water on it, and it's crazy. It just comes right off, all the lint. You just don't want your lint probably going down the drain, you know? That's the only thing. True, Jan. But I watched a lot of that TV. You know, that was the TV that was in reruns when I was a kid. And I spent a lot of time with my grandma when I was little. Like for the first 10 years of my life, practically. I spent a lot of time with her. Oh, wait, here, I need this. And my favorite shows were some of those. Gilligan's Island. We watched, well, I mean, a lot of these aren't even 70s stylings, but we watched all, like Bonanza, we watched all the Bonanza, Rifleman, Gidget. Gidget was my favorite. You know? So we watched other things too. Why is there no... I honestly don't remember which one is the one that goes to the collar. I'm just going to mark both of these. I could swear that I marked this, but I apparently did not. I did on the lining though, or not the lining, I'm sorry, the facing. Brady Bunch. Oh yeah, definitely watched Brady Bunch. My Three Sons. I was watching Gilmore Girls. Oh, see, this is already marked. Is this the side I just already marked? Oh, see, this one was marked. I watched Gilmore Girls yesterday, and it was the episode where Dean joins them for dinner, and they're watching Donna Reed. And Roy's all, my favorite episode is when their daughter arrives late to school and nothing happens. You know, it's like, and you know, or when so-and-so eats dinner and nothing happens. It's really, it's kind of funny. Where'd I get the, oh, I got it on Amazon. I'll try and remember to send you a link, Elizabeth. Okay. Let me find the directions. Let me see where the notch on the collar lines up. Which one is this? I guess I'll use this. I have this instruction thing I had printed by accident. They just go to both? Okay. And then you stop sewing right there. Okay. Bet. All right, so I'm gonna match up my center back seam here. And then shoulder to this notch here. And then we're going to sew on this pattern. There's little drill holes, like little markings, and you go to the second one on the neckline here, but you stop, like the one here is at this seam allowance juncture. So if you could see the seam allowance, it would look something like this. And on the pattern, there's a little circle right here. So that little circle goes to the little circle that's right here on the neckline. And there's another one here that goes there. That's what's happening there. And they're telling you, hey, we want you to stop sewing right here. Don't go all the way to the edge, because this is your under collar and it's going to get sewn to your top collar, and you need to be able to pivot, right? You need to be able to go like this. And if you sewed this all the way to the raw edge, you wouldn't be able to sew along and pivot. You'd have a raw edge showing. So that's what that is. Oh, you found it? Oh, perfect. Yeah, you can drop it in chat. Use my affiliate link. Yeah, it works really good. We had the other kind, and I hardly ever use it, but you know what I love using them for is picking up, like if you have to seam rip a lot, it grabs all the threads from your seam ripping. It's great. I'm going to go from the center back to the front. Yeah, I'm going to try to go, I will on this side, but we'll see if I can do it on the other side. I don't know. Okay, I don't know if you can even do that, can you? I guess you can if you're, I don't know. It doesn't matter, Terry, it's fine. Oh, I'm going to use a slightly shorter stitch length than I can feel I have right now. We got all this done today. Yeah. It's like kind of a tight curve, you know? You got to just sort of walk it, and then remember, stop at that juncture there like that. You want that little live edge. That's what makes sewing the notched collar easy. I don't want to be sued for saying it's easy. We'll try it from this side. I may struggle a little bit. It's a little more accurate if you go, and it'll make things kind of symmetrical if you go from center back to center front on each side. It's kind of better not to see what's happening under here though, because this is a little bit like, oh, is that really what this is supposed to look like? It's really hard to see what's going on there. This is a little easier, so I feel like it's not going to look good. I feel like I'm getting tucks and I don't know it. All right, I can't see where that drill hole is, but it's probably right, maybe one stitch too far. Yeah, one stitch too far. See right here, that's probably should be a little narrower, more symmetrical. Do I leave that? I don't know. Okay. We're getting a little bit of a blazer, right? Easy peasy, right? Yeah. Cool. So now, what do we have left? Let's Saturday, we're going to do our sleeves, shoulder pads, facing color, hem, and that's it. No problem, right? Oof, it's just not fitting on my table here. I will say one thing about my sewing cabinet for my home machine is I've been really appreciating how much larger the sewing surface is over here. I can have like books piled at the end and it's fine. There we go. Yay. Very cute. Got a lot done. Yeah, I got a lot done. This was my like lofty goal and it was very achievable. Bound all the, because I also didn't do all the binding, so I still have the sleeves to do, and I decided to compartmentalize it. I still need to cover my shoulder pads. That won't be hard. And I think I was going to match the binding, but maybe I'll match the green. We can have a vote and chat or something on Saturday. So cool. Well, thanks for coming, guys. It's really fun. I like it. I do feel like I have two blue blazers though. I mean, the other one's teal and this one's blue. But you're probably, like, if you saw me, you'd be like, she always has blue coats, you know? So there's that. But there's worse things. I had the fabric, so. All right, well, thanks for coming, you guys. I'll see you Saturday. Have a great Friday, great rest of your week. Happy sewing. And, yeah. You lost power? No! Oh, sorry, Terry. Well, we're done, so. All right, have a good week, you guys. I'll see you Saturday. Bye. Nope, that's not the right one. Bye.